Hello, everybody. Welcome to my channel, and thank you for joining. Now, in today's episode, we're going to do the Round 7 review. Just coming down. Now, we've got a lot of things to discuss. Now, our channel previously was for entertainment. It still is. It was also for educational purposes. Well, that's gone now, okay? Because there's not much education you can get out of Abs Magic, okay? We're going to educate you on how to finish in the top 100,000 at the moment where we're going. So the education is gone. However, we may have education for teams that are ranked in the top 30 or 50,000 on how to come back, okay? Because that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to come back now. We're going to fight this out. We're going to come back. So this channel has now become on how to fight back from a very bad situation. Okay, so we're going to try everything, and with no cash, of course. So we don't have much cash to play with. And one thing I want to talk about, okay, and it's very important, and that's banter. Okay, it's bantering people. Okay, and you got to understand. Not more or less banter on the public forum, but more even in general chats, okay, chat groups. And sometimes we all take Supercoach seriously, okay? You know, if you didn't take Supercoach seriously, you wouldn't be watching this channel, okay? You're not watching this channel to watch someone like myself talk and tell you to calm it down, okay? You're watching this channel because you take Supercoach seriously. And all of us that take Supercoach seriously, we get upset, you know, it hurts our pride, it hurts, our players, they're killing us right now, especially if you're going bad, okay? If you're on a high, you're going well, that's good, okay? That's a good thing, but you got to stay humble, okay, when you're going well, okay? Don't put others down, okay? Because the minute you start putting other people down when you're going well, it's not a good thing, okay? Because not everyone has a year where they go well. We have years when we do well, okay? Everyone has a good year, okay? Some people have 2 or 3 good years, okay? It happens, but you stay humble, okay? You don't put your friends down, okay? It's a no-go zone, and the minute you do that, friendship isn't lost, but what happens is, the person that you put down, they don't feel good about themselves, okay? And I can tell you one thing, I've been put down, okay? I've been put down really bad. And I have doubts now in my thought process. I have doubts in my thinking ability. I actually doubt myself now because you just don't put people down. And you don't kick them when they're down, especially when they're down. You don't kick them, okay? That's a no-go zone. So it's happened to me. I've left that group that I was in, that I got kicked on, and they didn't even know they were doing it. That's the worst thing, okay? So please have awareness when you talk to people and put them down. Have awareness of their feelings, okay? Because it's very important. Anyway, let's move on. We're going to change the theme now at Abs Magic. It's no longer John West. The theme now is Liverpool. And we're going to walk on. We're going to walk on through the rain. We're going to walk on through the storm. Because at the end of the rainbow, there's still gold there for us. We don't give up. I don't want you to give up. Okay, we're going to have a bad season. It doesn't matter. Because we are here together. Okay? We're going to fight. And now we're going to do this together. Okay, just cover down. We'll never walk alone. Now let's go to our scores this week. And this week, again, it was disaster. Even though the team looked half decent, everything we do, the opposite happened. So the score this week was 23.63. The season rank now is all-time low, 29,000. Never been ranked this low before. But you know something? I'm actually enjoying this because now it's become a challenge. So the challenge has now become, let's get from 29,000 up to 1,000. And it's a lot harder now at this time of the year because everyone has built their teams. So when you're ranked, say, 40,000 or 100,000 in round 3, for example, it's a bit easier to come back. But when you're ranked 29,000, 40,000, 50,000 in round 7, when the teams have all built a solid team, it gets a little bit more difficult, especially when your cash flow is only 11.8 mil of team value. So we're going to work out how we're going to do all this. We're going to do some twists, some turns, and we're going to fight back, okay? That's what's going to happen. Just calm it down. Now, the performances this week, okay? Now, the problem wasn't my players, believe it or not, okay? I made some errors, okay? For example, it was a raining game between the Bombers and the Magpies, and I put Zach Reid on the bench because I spoke to a good friend of mine who's a Sydney Swans supporter, and he's probably watching right now, and he knows who he is. And I asked him, what are the chances of Peyton playing? And he said Buckley's, 0 chance. No chance at all that Peyton will play. I said, okay, let's put Peyton, let's loop these two, okay? Let's loop Zach Reid. If he fails in the rain, I'm going to put on Stone. So Zach Reid scores a 90. I've got no problems because I could put Peyton on field, but of course, Peyton plays, okay? Not only does he play because Wicks goes out, okay, which wasn't planned. So my friend was probably right when he said Peyton won't play, but he didn't anticipate that Wicks was going to get injured, okay? So Wicks not only went out and Peyton came in, and Peyton was doing okay. I mean, if he scored, it was at 36 at half time. So if he had doubled that, it probably would have even gone better because of the fact that Bice was on pretty much similar as Peyton, and their defenders went nuts in the second half. So Peyton could have easily gone to 80. However, Peyton, of course, he got injured, okay, because it's my play. Plays with Abs Magic. What do you expect, okay? So Peyton got injured, scored the 36, and there's disaster already. We've lost the 90 points on field and replaced it with 36. Now, that's okay. Okay, we lost a couple of points there. Okay, maybe 40 points or 50 points, whatever it is. Okay, we lost those points. So we captained Nick Dacos. We brought him in this week because we traded out Sheasels because, as we knew, Sheasels had a role half forward. Okay, we didn't want that role. Okay, so we wanted Sheasels as the half back. As happened with Rosie, we saw the minute we traded him out, he went to half back. What does Sheasels go and do? Okay, he goes and plays halfback. So now we've got 2 players that we traded out, knowing that their roles were no good. Although Rosie's role in the midfield was okay, but he just wasn't scoring. However, Sheasels' role at half forward was actually terrible. And that's not to say now that he won't go back to half forward, but the role that he played at half back, he looked decent, and that's what we got him in for. In the first quarter, he was on like 10 or 14 points playing half forward, so I was actually happy. I was so excited watching my trade work out perfectly. Even on Twitter, people were quoting, what are we going to do with Sheasels now, because he was going that bad. But what happens? They change his role. I can't believe this. Just coming down. I'm cursed. That's what it is. So the John West theme, it's been cursed. So we're going to get rid of the John West theme, and we're going to walk on, okay? We're going to walk on through all this. So now, we got Dacos. We're happy, okay? So there's no problems. But now I sort of want Sheasels back because of the fact that he's playing half-back. If I knew he was going to play half-back, I would have kept him. Anyway, it is what it is, as they would say. Now, they scored at 157. I got Brayshaw in for Rosie, okay? So Brayshaw is now worth 666. I can't say it. Okay, so it's not like I got a bad player in, okay? I got Dacos in for Sheasels. It's not like I did bad, okay, with the selections I brought in. It's just that the plays I took out, but they had to go, okay, because there was no way to bring these 2 in. Now, we go further down, okay? Now, Oliver scoring the 98, he looked terrible in the first half, and in the second half, he looked good. I'm going to give him 1 more week, and then I'm going to decide his fate, because if he can't score against West Coast this week, I'm going to give you guys make you all happy, because Oliver's going to come back into form, because I'm going to sack him. Okay, so the minute I sack Oliver, you know he's going to average 120. The chances are he'll have a role change. If he's getting 60% CBAs now, he'll have 80% CBAs. He'll become a gun. He'll average 140 the minute I trade him out. So get ready for an Oliver to go nuts soon, okay? It's coming soon, okay? Thanks to me, okay? Now, going further down, we've got Petrarca in. I mean, Who do we trade out to get Petrarca? We traded out Roberts. Roberts last week to bring in Petrarca. I've got no regrets with that because the back line, if you take Payton out of there, okay, it was not supposed to be there. The back line is doing okay. They're still scoring the 100s, the 90s. Well, Trainer had a bad week, but he was underscored for sure. Took 5 intercept marks, wasn't paid. Something wrong with the scoring system at the champion data. But anyway, how would I know, okay? So I'll just leave it at that. Now, I don't want to whinge or whine. It's not my cup of tea, but sometimes the blood pressure goes up, okay, when I see things that don't happen my way. So I was very upset when I saw Trainers scoring patterns, especially when he took those intercept marks. No point. I know he kicked one to the opposition, but usually you don't get a score for that. So it's not like it was an ineffective kick because he kicked it to a pack. Gorn took the mark. So you don't lose points for that. You just don't get points. He didn't get points, but you're supposed to get points for an intercept mark. He didn't get that 5 times. Anyway, let's not talk about Trainer. Now, Rao, he was on 9 points at halftime. 9. Okay, now, we traded out the horny man for Rao. Okay, now this at the time was a good move. Okay, except the week I traded the horny man, he scored a 150. Okay, well, mind you, we traded out the horny man because we wanted Petrarca up forward. We didn't want Horny up forward anymore. We wanted to start doing some anti-potting. Okay, now that sort of worked because Petrarca is actually outscoring the horny man right now. Okay, so that's not an issue. But the issue is the replacement isn't scoring. Okay, now 69 from Rao. I had to go to sleep. I was that angry. Okay, I went to bed. True story. Okay, I couldn't watch the game anymore. Okay, so I went straight to bed. Couldn't watch the game, and then I woke up because it was at 9:30 time. I went to bed. Okay, had the nana nap. Okay, had the grandpa. Took my teeth out, put in the glass. Okay, it was the old man stuff. Okay, so I went to sleep. Then I woke up about 2 hours later just to check if Rao reached 30 because I was going to be happy with a 30. Then I saw 69. I couldn't believe he scored 69. Okay, now, it's insane. How does he score an extra 59 points when I go to sleep or 60 points in the second half when I don't get to see it? But when I do watch him, he only scores 9 points. So anyway, it happened. And Bryce went and scored the 1-on-1. I didn't see this because of the fact that, because I went to bed when I heard that Payton is injured, okay? I said, look, the Supercoach gods just hate me, okay? It's what it is, okay? The minute I said Payton is out, subbed, I said, that's it. I can't watch. I'm going to break the TV. And I don't want to break TV because it's very expensive to buy a nice brand new TV again. So I don't want to break the TV. So I said, let me just sleep and get the pain out in my nightmares, okay? So I'm going to have a nightmare about it. So I went to sleep. Come back, and then I see the score. So, happy with Rao's second half. I didn't see it, okay, but disappointing that he only had 9 points till half-time, okay. Primo, unheard of. Going further down, Dunkley, he scored the 100s. He's been disappointing, okay, very disappointing. He's not getting all the CBAs that I'm expecting from him. We're going to go through all that in a minute. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Dunkley. Callaghan is a surprise packet, okay? This came out of nowhere. So something actually went right for me, which is Callaghan. Callaghan has had a role change, okay? Because I've checked it out. The last 2 weeks, he scored 116 with the same role. There is definitely a role change there, and I'm going to show it to you, okay? Now, it may not be as obvious when you see it, because last week they told me that, because I didn't watch last week's game, and they told me they were heavily pressed. But the same thing happened again this week, same role, same positionings. So there has to be something in there, with a kind of a role change there. And that's how, then we got Lindsay at 78, so we're sort of happy with that. Then we go to the rucks. The 2 rucks that are antipod, okay, Sherry and Gorn. There's probably 330 points between them. Then you add a captain score, close to 500 points there. That's where I lost all my points this week. It wasn't my team was that bad, okay? It was the antipods. Gorn 170 odd. Last week we saw Dacos score 170 odd. I didn't have him there. So 2 weeks back to back, I've copped a 170 and a 170 that I didn't have, and that's whole crashing, okay? So we copped those. It's okay. We're going to move on from that. That you can't always have my opposition teams have 170s. I don't get them. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. We had the Conning. We kept him. Scored the 135. The forward line, it sort of clicked, okay? This week, Davidson didn't click, scored the 51. His break-even is now at 50, okay? So we're going to give him another week, and then we're going to sack him. Maybe we won't even give him another week. We'll find out. Cleary was a surprise packet. He was good at halftime, and he continued. He must have continued. So when I scored 89, he actually looks decent. I actually like Cleary a lot. So I'm happy to field him actually. So I'm very confident with his field. I mean, he's scoring the same as Caleb Daniel, scoring the same as Jack McRae, so scoring the same as two primos. So Cleary is as good as a primo now. Well, he's not going to be my keeper, but at least he's scoring like a primo. He's scoring similar to Levi Ashcroft, who I don't own. So that's the main thing. Actually, this week he outscored Levi Ashcroft. Now, we go to the flex, and we've got Flynn there, okay? I'm still a bit shaky with this, but Flynn scored the 105. He's not guaranteed to have games. I mean, he got smashed in the ruck, but he played well around the ground, and that's where he got all his points. And if a ruckman can get scores around the ground, they're actually a decent asset. So, Flynn may actually be good, okay? So, he could even end up being a keeper if he keeps his role, because scoring a 105 is decent for a flex position. So we'll see how Flynn goes. At the end of the day, we might have to trade him out, but we'll see how it goes. Now, with our reviews, we're going to actually do all the reviews from the app itself, okay? Because what I want to do is go through their pricings, okay? So this way I can easily click on. Now, the first team we're going to look up is Melbourne, okay? Now, before we go to the actual scores, let's have a look at the kick-ins at Melbourne. Okay, now, Melbourne, the kick-ins were actually quite interesting because of the fact that everyone had one, okay? It was shared by everybody, so they must have changed the way they operate because in previous years, it was Stephen May owned everything. Now, Stephen May only gets one, okay? And this is the way it should have been because Stephen May should be a kicking target, not a player that kicks the ball in. So players like May should be the targets when they kick the ball because you can take a mark, okay? That's the whole point. So Salem is now the main distributor from the looks of it, but then again, they got a few of them. So Salem's taken quite a few the last couple of weeks, okay? Now, if we go to CBAs at Melbourne, okay, the interesting note here is that Oliver at 79%, okay, it's pretty consistent, except last week he dropped to 62. Jack Viney at 88%, but Petrarca's holding his own in the CBAs. The last 2 weeks, 82 and 79. So Petrarca now is the main man in those CBAs. So he's had his role change when it was at 48, 52, 50. So now he's back in the middle. That's where we want him. We've seen Pickett at 50%. Okay, so Pickett's getting a lot of CBAs. And then we go further down, and then you got the players like Langford, Sparrow, and all of them that used to get CBAs. They don't get them anymore. Okay, so Langford and Sparrow, they've lost their CBAs. So now it's gone back to Pickett as the, he's the fourth banana. And they only have 4 of them. They only use 4 players in the CBAs. Take note, Oliver, Viney, Petrarca, and Pickett, and no one else. Okay, Langdon went for 1 only, okay? The 25% here is Fullerton, that's the ruck. So Gawn only had 75% ruck time and still scored a 171, okay? Because Richmond thought he was wearing yellow or black, just kicked it to me every time. So Gordon went nuts. However, Fullerton had the 25% ruck time. But as you can see, only 4 players in the midfield. That's unheard of. I've never seen this before. So very rare you see this. So it's interesting. Petrarca's role now is very, very solid. And so is Oliver's, okay? And we always knew Oliver had a solid role. Now, going through the scores, and we look at Gawn, okay? If we go to Gawn now, he's 636k. Now, and we could have got him at 585 last week, but we decided that we wanted to pick up Flynn and Petrarca, have 2 players for the price of 1. It did work out, but we weren't anticipating a 171 from Gawn, and this week he plays West Coast. He's going to go nuts. So if Gawn this week goes and scores, let's just be minimal and say 150 minimum, okay? If he scores a 150, Gawn's price goes to 664k, unattainable, okay? So Gawn is now become out of reach if you don't own him. And he's only owned by 25% of teams, so not a lot of teams own Gawn. So the people that own him have got a huge pod right now. Jack Bowie, okay, defender, 132 he scored. He's worth 473k. He's actually he's gone up 136k in value. He was a great starting pick. I mean, he is inconsistent, but if you if you say the 96 is similar to a 100, okay, because only 4 points off, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games above 96, okay, virtually 5 100s and 2 80s. That's not bad for a player that was worth 340k. Is he still worth getting now? Is the question now. Would you get him now? Well, he's going to go up in value again. Another 35k, another 50k value going up to about 530k. Then a bad score will drop him off again. So, for example, if you see an 80 here, all right, 2 80s back to back, even 85s, 2 85s back to back. If you do that, he gets a price drop. Okay, it goes back down to 485. So he won't be out of reach unless he keeps going at the same trajectory. Petrarca, 129k. When do we jump on him? Well, his break even now. Where's his break even? Is at 70. Okay, plays West Coast. Let's say he scores a 120 against West Coast. Then plays Hawthorn. Let's leave the rest as it is. Okay, do a projection. He goes up 20k this week, 20k next week. Then he becomes 540k. All right, so Petrarca, he won't be out of reach, but he'll be more expensive. Okay, so at 540k, you can still get him, still cheap, but why buy high when you can buy low? Okay, so Petrarca's value is still decent at 497k. Now, is there anyone else at is Salem worth it? Okay, let's have a look at Salem. Well, Salem's been very inconsistent. You can see a lot of 70s. Unlike Bowie, Salem is a bit more inconsistent. So I'd say no to a Salem. And we talked about Oliver, all right? He's got a 98. Now, what happens to Oliver this week, all right? Because Oliver's history against Melbourne, besides the last game last year where he scored 51 points, okay? Now, I can't remember what happened this game. Maybe he was out of form, or maybe, I said against Melbourne, against the West Coast, okay? Now, maybe he was injured, I don't know, but he's usually scoring about 120. So if he goes and scores a 120 this week, what happens to Oliver's price? Let's have a look. If he goes to 120 this week, let's project this. He goes up close to 500k. This guy goes at 100s after that, so close to around about 500k-ish to Oliver. Once he hits 500k, I'm selling him. Okay, he's out of the door for me. He's finished. Okay, so because I need Oliver to go. The reason I started Oliver is I thought he'd go at 120s. Believe it or not. Okay, it's funny, I know, but it's not actually a sense of humor. It's facts. I predicted he should go at 120s, but he didn't. Now let's forget about Melbourne. Okay, let's now go to Richmond. Now at Richmond, kick-ins. We saw Vlastun, Short, and Banks. So nothing special here. Nothing that we don't know. Okay, and most of these players aren't really highly owned. We saw Nank in the CBAs at Richmond. We have Taranto, Hopper, Dow, Lawler, Ross. We have a few, but there's not many. Richmond midfield not the best, okay, but for some reason McIntosh is there with 58% CBA. He's not a midfielder, so I don't know how they put McIntosh still in there, okay? He's not even a tagger, so I don't know what's going on at Richmond, or why McIntosh is there. Play the kids, okay? Put Smiley in there, bring him in, and play Smiley, just calm it down. Now, at Richmond, there are no players of any interest besides the Nank, okay? And not many people own the Nank except for me, okay? And he's going to lose some cash this week. So, my plans with Nank is possibly, I'll tell you tomorrow. You're going to see, okay, in the next video. But I have plans for Nank. Now, we have, who else is here? Short, okay? He's not doing it. 78 again. If you still own Short, you should have got rid of him. They say they can get rid of primos, but at the end of the day, not all of them go to plan, okay? And Short is one of those that is not going to plan, so he's got to be traded out. I mean, how do you know what a primo is, okay? I mean, you saw the signs with Short, you saw the same signs with Roberts, but Roberts has scored better lately than what Short has. We go further down. Luke Traynor scored the 66, okay? Now, his break-even this week, okay? Now, let's say he scores at 75s, okay? It goes at 75s. Actually, let's go 70s. If Traynor goes at 70s, okay, He loses 6K this week, but the following 2 weeks, back-to-back, he makes another 20, another 20, another 15. So he's going to make some cash for you. So trainers there probably got another, let's say we've got 70s, okay, up until round 11. You got another, say, 50K of cash coming in from trainer if you can hold that long. Now we go to the Collingwood and Essendon game. Okay, now actually let's start with the kick-ins first. Okay, kick-ins at Collingwood. Who's taking the kick-ins? Well, Dan Houston is not taking many kick-ins. Only took 2, and I saw one of them. Nick Dacos was going to take it, and Dan Houston snatched the ball off him. So he was very greedy guts. He wanted to have the ball because Nick Dacos wasn't getting many kicks. So Dan Houston said, "No, it's my kick-in." So Dan Houston 2 kick-ins. Josh Dacos just the 1. So there's not many. They're sharing the kick-ins at Collingwood. So nothing spectacular there. In the midfield, what's going on? Okay, now we see here. Nick Dacos is the king of the midfield at Collingwood, 83%. Last week they shared it big time. This week they didn't, okay? 83% for Nick Dacos. He was the main man. And then Pendlebury had 67. Ned Long, his CBA's dropped to 53 because De Goey came in, okay, had 37 this week. Last week he had 35. So Sidebottom had more CBAs this week. So Sidebottom took some of Ned Long's CBAs, but it's not many, okay? So Ned Long still had a lot. And that's pretty much it. Now, if we go to the scores, okay, now I'm not sure Sidebottom, Elliott, Howard, none of these are Supercoach worthy, but Nick Dacos is. And Nick Dacos, he jumped up 32K in value, okay? So we needed a jumper in this week, which we did, okay? We got the 32K rise out of him, so we got him cheaper at 6. He was 608K, now up to 640, and break even of 80. Now, he's almost unattainable, like Gawn is. Same with Nick Dacos. He's virtually unattainable now, okay? No one's going to pay... Well, you can pay 640, but it's not cheap. Because if he goes and scores 127 this week, goes up another 20K, his price holds at 640K pretty much unless he has a poor game. Because everything at 120, that price holds, okay? So he's not dropping, okay? If anything, he's actually going to go up, okay? So... is going to be hard to attain unless he has one poor game. That's all you want. For example, let's say against Geelong this week, all right? Against Geelong this week, let's say he scores a 90. Okay, what happens? Let's have a look. If he scores a 90, he drops. Considering he scores 120 his next games, he drops, but only to 613K. So it's not a lot, but at least you get him 30K cheaper. So he needs back-to-back 90s. So if he's got 2 90s back-to-back, what happens? Okay, let's have a look. 2 90s back-to-back, then he drops right down to 580K. That's where you can pick him up again. So you need 2 poor scores back-to-back from Nick Dacos. Now, are there any other players here worth mentioning? There's Darcy Cameron, but I think he's too expensive now. Josh Dacos scored the 106, got a break-even of 45. Okay, that's a nice and low break-even. What's he been doing? Let's have a look at Josh Dacos. Is he going to be worthwhile? Well, he's only had 1 poor game. Okay, that's against Sydney. And that was at Adelaide Oval, okay? But before that game, 119, 106, a few nights. So he's a high 90s averaging player. I thought that he's not going to score too well once Houston came in, but he's actually scoring. Houston's not scoring, okay? And Dacos is. So he has a lot of touches. He just doesn't get a lot of... His scoring compared to his touches doesn't look right, okay? Because for some reason, he may get 30 touches and hardly hit 100. So he's one of these players that plays a lot of uncontested football. That's why his scoring isn't that high. Now, if we go further down at Collingwood, Ned Long scored the 87. Okay, now he's kicked a goal each time. So the owners have been lucky with these goals, because if these goals aren't there, the score's obviously not going to be there. But Ned Long, let's say he averages 85 for the rest of the year. Okay, he goes at 85. What's he going to go at? Okay, 85. Okay, he's going to hit around about 410 by round 11. That's another 50K. So you can still hold on to Ned Long. Okay, he's taking a rookie off the field, so he's doing his job. Okay, because he got him cheap. He went up 50K this week. He's gone up 160K from his starting price. So if you got him at 200K, you're laughing. Okay, with Ned Long. Now let's go further down. Go to Dan Houston. What is wrong with him? Okay, break even at 144. Priced at 525K, but he's going to plummet. Okay, his price, let's say he goes at 90s. Okay, let's say 100. Let's say he goes at 100, okay? he's still going to drop down to 490k, going at 100. Okay, so he'll be 490k in 2 weeks. I don't even know if he's in the top top 20, to be honest. But let's say he goes at 80. Okay, he's going to drop all the way down to 420k eventually. So Dan Houston. Don't rush to get him, okay? Just wait on Dan Houston. I'm not sure there's anyone else down at Collingwood we want to talk about. Let's go now to Essendon. Okay, now, Jordan Ridley. All right, let's talk about Jordan Ridley now. Okay, now, Ridley, what's he been doing? Now, he's been scoring, okay. He's virtually been scoring the same as Zach Reid, to be honest. Ridley and Reid, same thing. The only difference here is Ridley takes the kick-ins, which gives him more points. So if you go to kick-ins and Essendon, all right, let's go to Essendon. The kick-ins, Ridley has 4, McGrath 2, Roberts 2, and Redmond 3. That's pretty much it. So I think Ridley and Reid, same thing right now. If anything, Reid, without the kick-ins, is outscoring Ridley. Okay, now CBAs at Essendon. Who's got the CBAs? Let's have a look. Let's go to Essendon and CBAs. Okay, CBAs at Essendon. Well, Goldie had 90% CBAs this week. Okay, so now Goldie, we'll talk about in a minute. Okay, Setterfield, he had 53%. He had a terrible score. Okay, I can't work it out. So maybe he's going to get dropped this week. Okay, he had a shocker. Okay, maybe Tasatsis comes back in now for Setterfield. We saw Durham 77, Merritt 67. Merritt's not getting a lot of CBAs. That's your best player. He should be on 80% CBAs, only 67, and that's his norm. 55, 60, 67. He's had 2 decent ones and back down at 67 again. Something wrong with Merritt's CBAs. And they got Dylan Shield now, and he's injured at 57%. So Shield probably goes out, the injury sign on him, and we're probably going to get replaced by Tassatis actually. So maybe, where is he? Maybe Setterfield stays there. So does Tassatis get CBAs still? That's the question, because Shield, well, he does, because he probably gets Shield CBAs. So Tassatis will get CBAs. Now, let's get back to the game day. Okay, now let's go to these scores. And we've got Zach Reid scoring a 90. And with Zach Reid's price, okay, now, if Zach Reid's last 4 games, take away the West Coast game because he was playing half the game in Ruck, okay, because they didn't have a Ruckman. So take away this score because this wasn't really a legit score for him. So his last 3 games, 88, 104, 90, that's a decent average, okay? If he can go at 85 for the rest of for pretty much from now on, 85, he goes to close to 400k by round 12. That's another 100k to make for Zach Reid. So he's a player that I would have to hold, even if he goes at 80. Okay, if he goes at 80, actually, I've gone up. Okay, if he goes down at 80, he goes at 385k. Okay, that's decent. So I can't get rid of Zach Reid. Okay, I'm going to have to hold him. Now, if we go further down, Zach Merritt, a different story of Zach Merritt. How much is he going to lose? Let's have a look. Zach Merritt. If Zach Merritt goes, what's he been scoring? 106, 124, 106. Let's say he goes at 106, okay? Because these are bigger scores. He actually kicked goals to get them. Let's say he goes at 106. Going at 106, you can get Zach Merritt for around about 550k soon. So he's come down a lot, okay? He's dropped a heap. It was about 620k just recently. So Zach Merritt is one to watch. And I don't think there's anyone else here at Essendon that we're really interested in. Maybe Nick Martin. Let's have a look at Nick Martin. What's going to happen to Nick Martin now? Because Nick Martin, we saw his heat map last week. It looked unbelievable. Everything changed this week. Last week he had 100% time on ground. This week only 80%. There's something wrong. I can't work it out. I actually had a mate that brought him in. Okay, and I don't blame him because I was heavily considering him. So if Nick Martin goes at 100s, he's going to drop down to 500k, all right? And that's pretty cheap if he can hold a good roll. But if he scores a 50-odd, that's disaster. So if he goes at 95s even, projected, he drops down about 490k. So something to consider with Nick Martin, okay? He wouldn't be on my hit list, but maybe he was on my hit list last week, but this week sort of scared me off. So I'd say pass on him for now. We now go to Freo and Adelaide. Now let's check out the kick-ins at Freo. Kick-ins, Luke Ryan, he's the hog. He's got them all again. 10 kick-ins. So is Luke Ryan back? Okay, now what's going on with Luke Ryan? We're going to find out what he scored, but 10 kick-ins, that's a good sign. Okay, so even last week, 6 kick-ins. So the hog is back. Okay, now Jordan Clark only did 2 kick-ins and 1 to Brendan Cox. So that's an interesting one there. Now, if we go to CBAs, what's going on? Who's got all the CBAs? Well, Sean Darcy had 83%, so Sean Darcy, obviously the main ruck. Sarong, 79. Brayshaw, 79. That's your 2 main midfielders. Then you got Young with 50%. Shai Bolton, 46%. And Matthew Johnson, 38%. Matthew Johnson, interesting. Okay, now, can Johnson hold his CBAs? We're going to look at Johnson in a minute as well. Is there anyone else to come in that's going to take CBAs from these guys? Okay, well, Murphy Reid, no CBAs. He only had 1 CBA virtually for the whole year. Only 1, okay? And so he never plays. He's half forward. That's scoring unbelievably well. So Hayden Young is an interesting one here with 50, okay? And let's move on. Now, let's talk about Brayshaw. He's one of these players that have become unreachable. The 666K, okay, and he's going up, okay? Now, if he scores, his break-even is 115, okay? If he cracks, let's have a look at Brayshaw. If he scores a 137, it goes up to virtually 675, then goes to 684. It's telling me here there's going to go up to 700k. Now, that's not going to be possible, okay? You can't score all these points like you're seeing here, but it's actually saying 734k. But if he goes at 120s, okay, at 120s, he'll drop, okay? So you'll see here, he'll start dropping, but not enough, okay? At 120s, he's going to drop to around about 620k. If he goes at 110, all right, what happens? All right, every week 110. He still holds price till about 590k, till about end of the buy rounds. So the right time to jump on him was 2 weeks ago, which was when I got him, but the play that I traded that actually went nuts too. So can't win them all, I suppose. Now, Clark scored the 114, only 2 kick-ins, so that's a good score. Okay, the 114. Sarong, the 108. Let's take a look at Sarong. What's going on with Sarong? If he goes at 110, what's he going to do? What's his price? Let's check this out. At 110, Sarong projected. He's not going up in price. He's going to stay. He's actually going to drop. Okay, even at 110, about 560k. So don't rush for Sarong unless you see a big spike game. Young, okay, he looked decent, but only 50% CBA, so he's not getting a lot of the CBAs. Johnson scored the 99. Now let's check out Johnson. He's 335k. All right. The previous week against Melbourne scored 58, so it's not like Johnson's setting the world on fire, okay? He had 98 in round 1. Go back to CBAs in round 1. Did Johnson have CBA? Well, he did. You can see here, Johnson, 50% CBAs in round 1, scored the 99, but then he had 71% CBAs against against West Coast. And in that game, and scored a 79. So, huge risk. I'd say not worth the risk, okay? So don't worry about Johnson. Sean Darcy, the 99. What's happening with Sean Darcy's price? Is at 496k. If Sean Darcy goes at 100, all right, let's put Sean Darcy at 100 the next couple of weeks. The rock bottom will be this week, 483, and then Sean Darcy will go up. So you're getting Sean Darcy at his cheapest right now, probably next week. And if he gets his break-even at 119, that's pretty much his price, 500k. And that's a good price for Sean Darcy. However, we haven't seen enough from Sean Darcy to entice us. I mean, you've seen a 76, a 63, and a 99, and a 99 against Riley O'Brien. Okay, now, we're going to find out more about Sean Darcy. Probably not the St Kilda game, but probably against Collingwood. We'll find out how good Sean Darcy is. Now, is there anyone else at Freo we should talk about? Well, Luke Ryan. He had 10 kick-ins and only scored 78. So, okay, now that's no good. It's a very bad... take those 10 kick-ins out, he's going to score nothing. So, Luke Ryan, what's happened to him? He's 467k, his cheapest chips, and he's dropping, okay? Break-even is massive. What's the break-even? Break-even is 118. He's got to score a 90 to lose 10k. If he goes at 80s... I don't even think he's Supercoach relevant anymore. Okay, so dropping all the way down to 420, going at 80s. I think it's a major pass for Luke Ryan. He's not getting a role change, so that's it for Freo. Now let's go to Adelaide, and let's look at the kick-ins. And at the top at the Adelaide is Mark Keane, 7 kick-ins. They're giving him the kick-ins. I don't understand. They've got no one else to kick the ball, okay? They've got a Hinge, okay? And I think Hinge is a much better. Hinge at least can kick the ball. Only had 2. Didn't play on from none of them. Worrell had 3. Malera had 1. At Adelaide, I don't understand the kicking department, okay? Now, if we go to, let's see where the ads, if we go to CBAs at Adelaide, we see Dawson still getting a high number of CBAs. His CBA count is massive, 82, 80, 81, 80, 75. His kicking disposal is terrible, 40% this week. It was atrocious, okay? Now, improve your kicking, and Dawson's going to go 120s every week because he's getting the ball. Saligo, his CBA's dropped, but he scored better. Crouch, 46%. Isaac Rankin, only 42% this week. Peatling up to 42%. So Peatling is back in the middle now. Berry got dropped out of the middle. Let's have a look at some of the scores. Okay, let's go back to the Adelaide game. Okay, now the one I want to see, only 71 for Peatling with 42% CBAs. Rankin the 120. Okay, Saligo 91. He had a good first half as well. Dawson 76. Dawson 498k. What's his price going to be? Let's have a look at Dawson. If he goes, well, his break even is 104. The good thing about Dawson is he has a good game every second game, so it doesn't put his price down too much. Okay, now if he had 2 bad games back to back, then his price gets smashed. But he stops it by having a good game the second game. So from the looks of it, this week is his good game coming up against Carlton, because every second week he goes nuts and then he goes bad. Okay, now Dawson's a gun player. Okay, and it's just unfortunate for the owners that he's not kicking the ball well, because he's doing everything else right. He's taking the marks, having the kicks. He's not injured, so he just can't kick. Yeah, that's Dawson. Now, is there anyone else at Adelaide that's Supercoach relevant? Well, there is one, okay, and that's Rory Laird. Now, Rory Laird, besides that one game where he got taken out as a sub, he's been decent. This is the game where he got taken out, 58. He was subbed out. He's been very consistent, 100 every week, okay? Now, is that enough? Probably not, okay? If you're going to try to win Supercoach, 100's not enough, okay? So, but he is consistent, okay? This is similar scoring to, because he doesn't takes no kick-ins. It's very similar scoring we're going to see from a halfback with no kick-ins, okay? Had he had kick-ins, he'd be about a 120. He'd be very similar to a Clark, a 112. So, without the kick-ins, is a no good. And Peatling is a no good, 71. Malera, 69. That's pretty much it at Adelaide. We now go to St Kilda and the Brisbane Lions. And let's start from St Kilda first. And I've got some alarming things to show you at St Kilda. These are big alarm bells. Now, at St Kilda, they're kick-ins. We got Sinclair, Wangan and Malera having 5 each. That's not an alarm bell. That's a good thing. Callum Wilkie, where did he come from? Took 3 of the kick-ins. So, that's 20 points just there. And it's probably even more than 20 points, these kick-ins, because a lot of these kick-ins, they kick it to a player, then they get the ball back and kick it again. So I remember Sinclair doing this at least 2 or 3 times, where he actually had 3 kicks from one kick-in in one of them. So he had 12-point play. So these kick-ins are decent, and they need these kick-ins to score points. But let's go to the CBAs, okay? Now, this is what the problem is. CBAs, you got your McRae's and your Steels, the 2 main ones. Winhager only had 38%. He didn't tag this week, Winhager, okay? 38% CBAs. They didn't use the tag this week. Or if he did tag, he didn't do a good job anyway. So, Winhager, 38%. Zach Jones, 16. We had 56% CBAs go to Wanganeen Malera. So now he's become a midfielder. Half his game is in the midfield and half his game is in defence. He scored his points because he kicked a couple of crunch goals, okay? But these goals aren't going to come every week. You don't want Wangan Miller in the midfield. You want him in defence. The same thing applies to Jack Sinclair. He was on 85 points at three-quarter time, and he was struggling to get that 85 points. The kick-ins got him there. Then they moved him into the midfield, and he stopped, okay? And a lot of his points were actually champion data bonus points, so I don't think he scored a lot of points. So let's go back to the game. With Sinclair, you can see here, the 99. Now, his break-even is 167. He can get that, okay, because he's that kind of player that can get a big score, okay? But, however, if he doesn't get that this week, if he only gets the 110, he goes down to 540k. You're going to get Sinclair really cheap very soon, okay? So even 540k, not a lot of teams can afford 540k, but he is available very soon at 545k. So look out for Sinclair, okay, coming cheap. But however, if Sinclair gets that 160 odd, okay, let's say 164 project, okay, he stays at 568k, then goes up big time the next 2 weeks. So it all depends on what Sinclair scores this week. But let's forget about Sinclair for now and go to Rowan Marshall. Okay, now Rowan Marshall, his break-even 68. All right, he's 150k cheaper than his starting price. You saw scores of 82, 121, 117. These aren't massive scores for a ruckman, okay? Then you saw the 61, 52, 66. These 3 games, all 3 of them, okay, he was going to be out before the game started. They had Boyd as an emergency. So he was facing a fitness test on all 3 games. Last week was the first time he didn't have a fitness test before. Well, it wasn't a fitness test, but there was speculation of being a late out for him in three different games, except for last week. Maybe he was playing injured. Now, I'm not saying he was. I'm just speculating, okay? I'm just using some speculation. Just calm it down. So maybe he was injured these games, and now that 133 against Brisbane Lions, and it's very hard to score 133 against Brisbane Lions, and he did it. So that's something to boast about for him. So his price now at 450k or 460k. What is it? No, it's 450k. So break even on 54. If he goes at 120s, let's just say, because he has done this before, okay? We saw our champ last year have Rowan Marshall in his team, and he got him scoring 120s, and he put him on his low. So if he goes at 120s, Rowan Marshall goes back up to 600k, okay? He goes back to his starting price. He makes another 150k profit, even 100k profit in a matter of 4 weeks. Just going at 120s. And who's he playing against? Freo. The last time he played Freo, he scored. What did he score? 169. Against Carlton, 120. Against West Coast, 120. So he can go at 120s. If he does this for 4 weeks, you made 100k profit. Okay. So let's just say against Gold Coast he goes bad. Okay. Let's say he scores a 95. Then what happens? Okay, you're still going to make the 100k, okay? So regardless. So you can make the quick 100k cash grab and just trade him out. So that's something to think about with Rowan Marshall. If we're going to play the blue chip game, and I'm going to be considering this week. This is one of my plans. Now, Jack Steele at 107. Now, I don't know. I don't have any goss about Jack Steele, okay? All I know is that he's 100k cheaper than starting price. And they've got Poo-Poo to come into the team now. When Poo-Poo's in the team, I don't know if it's going to be good or bad for him, because Jack Steele in the couple of weeks beforehand hasn't done nothing. Okay, so can he go at 100s? If Jack Steele can go at 105, and I have absolutely no confidence that he can, but if he can, he's just going to maintain his price. Not going to make much cash. So I don't know about Jack Steele. We talked about Sinclair, McRae. I mean, everyone's got him. And that's pretty much it at St Kilda. There's not much to talk about. Let's go to the Brisbane Lions. Now, kick-ins at the Brisbane Lions. This is alarming, okay? Zorko the Magnificent is no longer Zorko the Magnificent. He's finished for me, okay? Because he's not doing it like he used to. Although he did have a lot of touches, so we can still become friends, okay? But if he becomes good to me, I'll be good to him. But he's only taken 2 kick-ins last game. Wilmot is taken 3. Fletcher's taken 1. I mean, not that they had a lot of kick-ins, okay, but Zorko didn't take many of them. let's just assume that he was on the bench for a few of those, but 2 kick-ins for Zorko is unheard of, okay? You can see here, he's had 8 kick-ins, 7 kick-ins, and all of a sudden, it's dropped down to 2. So we need more kick-ins from Zorko, okay? That's one thing. Now, CBAs is another thing, okay? Now, with CBAs, we look at Dunkley. This week, 50% CBAs. There's nothing there. You can see here previously, 77, 86, but this week only 50%. Lockie Neal's holding his end of the bargain, 94%. We've got McCluggage holding his end, and then they're sharing the other 2. So it's virtually, you got your Lockie Neal, McCluggage as your 2 main midfielders, okay? And then you got Dunkley or Ashcroft as the next one, and in between, Rayner is sharing it with McCluggage, and that's your midfield. So Dunkley and Ashcroft are 50-50. That's very bad news for Dunkley. It's nothing that not something that I like. If we look at Dunkley's heat map, okay, let's go to his heat map, Supercoach. All right, what's he done? Where was he? Where did he play most of the game? Along the wings. Dunkley was this week playing along the wings. Not that he's I mean, he did have 50% in the midfield, but you could see only 3 touches in the midfield. Didn't get much of the touches. Something wrong with Dunkley. It's not the same Dunkley that I paid for, okay? So I'm not enjoying watching Dunkley right now. Now, let's go to Lockie Neal. He scored the 139. Lockie Neal, break-even is now 79. He's still cheap. He's only 562k. I can't believe how cheap he is. How is he so cheap? Because he scored that 90 there. Lockie Neal is getting his price affected because he's scoring the odd 70 here, 90 there, and it's stopping his price from rising. So he's still 80k below his price. Now, if Lockie Neal against Gold Coast scores a 120 and then goes and scores another 118, he goes to 600k. Still attainable. But what happens if Lockie Neal starts going 130s? Okay, now what happens? Okay, now his price goes to 620k and you can't get him anymore. It's end game. Game over. And we saw last year, Lockie Neal can have a long stretch of going 130s, okay, especially in the business end of the season. So it's not now or never, okay, but you just got to hope that Neal, because there's no tags coming. Gold Coast, North Melbourne, Hawthorn. I mean, Hawthorn do tag, but not lately their tags have been terrible. Same as Essendon. So what I originally thought of Lockie Neal as a tag target, maybe I was wrong. Okay, maybe the tags aren't going to become as much. Maybe just in round 14 and 15 he's going to cop the tags. Because against these 2 teams, against Geelong, he scored a 71. He hasn't played GWS yet. So maybe just 2 bad games coming for him. Besides that, and you're not going to pick him up in round 17 or 18. You won't have any cash or trades left. So close to best possible price for Lockie Neal's now, 562k. That's how I'm seeing it. Now, go further down. McCluggage scoring the 108. He was actually not as good as in previous weeks, but still managed to score high. He's getting more CBAs than what Dunkley is. Will Ashcroft 99. Dunkley, what did he score? Dunkley scored a 100. I can't believe he scored 100. It's okay. Still scored something. Levi Ashcroft 68. Let's have a look at Levi Ashcroft's price. Still got a 48 break even. Could be last week for you guys if he has a bad one. But he's paying Gold Coast. Well, it doesn't mean he's going to have a good one. So if he scores a 74, goes up 11k, and then pretty much it's a bye-bye Charlie for him at 74s. He's maxed out. Okay, the cow's become fat. It becomes a fat cow. Just coming down. Anyway, so Levi Ashcroft is almost maxed out. His majors are 162k. You should be very, very happy and very proud of him. Now let's go to Port Adelaide. And Port Adelaide, CBAs, okay, it's just the same players, okay. You can see here, Butters 87, Horny Man 81, Horny Man right up there now. As soon as well, not really, because last week he had 59. Okay, so I was going to say as soon as Rosie went to half back, Horny Man's CBAs went up, but that's not the case. But he did have 70, so it's pretty much the same. Nothing's changed for the Horny Man, but it's still very high CBAs for him. Drew's got the 71, and Ollie Wines the 65, and there's no one else. Okay, pretty much nothing. So it's only the they're sharing it amongst 4 players here, just swapping and changing these 4. So there's not much shared around. As you can see here, Rosie nutting this week. Rosie nutting 2 weeks ago because Rosie now is playing in defence because we traded him out. So that's what happens. He has a switch. The minute we trade him out, Rosie becomes a defender and a good role now. 4 kick-ins in round 6. I actually said in round 5, when he kicked his 3 goals, scored 130, still wouldn't jump on him because only the one kick-in. Maybe he's not the main man, but now he's become that because now he's the second kick-in player. 4 kick-ins and 3 kick-ins. He's almost become a must-have now, Connor Rosie, believe it or not, because of this role. If you can have kick-ins, you're getting a bonus, 12 points a game here, okay, every week, 12 points bonus. Then you're getting a bonus when you kick a goal, because Rosie now has a license to kick goals. So he's probably getting 20 points a week bonus, and with some scaling, maybe 30 points a week. So do I have regrets trading him out? Well, I got Brayshaw in, so no, but maybe I should have traded someone else, but didn't have no one else to trade out. Maybe it just ended up that way, okay? But at the end of the day, I didn't know he was going to play halfback, okay? I had no idea. I don't think anyone would have imagined this, okay? So people that say you shouldn't trade out primos, well, you shouldn't, but how are you going to know they're going to play halfback? Okay, how would you pick this? Anyway, it happened. Butters with the 162. All right, now this is disaster, okay? Now, it's not disaster if you own him, okay? You're laughing if you own him. This is disaster if you want to get him in because his scores have been 107, 135, 164, 162. If Butters is ever going to have a bad game, it's going to be the next 2 weeks against the Dogs and Adelaide because they're pretty strong in their midfield. Okay, now if he scores at 120s, if Butters goes at 120s, can we bring him in? Well, if he goes at 120, he goes at 707k next week. Okay, say 700k, going at 120s, you can pick him up. See, last week Butters was 660k, and we thought that was expensive, okay? Well, if you look for this here, we're going to try to get him at 650k, 630k. He needs a bad game. If we can have one bad game, even next week, this one, let's say he has one bad game, 90, then things change. Then you can get him at 630k. You're gonna have to splash the cash. You've got no choice. It's gonna have to be over 600k unless he has 2 bad games back to back. It goes 2 90s back to back. All right, and then you can get him at 610k, and that's where we're gonna find 610k in round 11. Okay, when all your rookies are gone, everything is finished. We're gonna find the cash. Just come on down. Now Connor Rosie, on the other hand, let's go to Connor Rosie. Season stats. He's got an awesome role, all right, halfback. But if you look at his scores, okay, even though he was tagged this game, he kicked a goal this game as well. 4 kick-ins. 4 kick-ins, that's 16 points. Take the goal out, that's another, say, 15 points because they give scaling, okay? So that's 30 points. That's a 75, 80 game, all right? This game, 3 kick-ins, that's 12 points. That goes to 106. Take away the goal as well, okay, maybe another 90 game. So he's scoring very similar to Rory Laird, is what I'm saying, all right? So, but because he's got the kick-ins, he's become an asset, okay? So if he loses those kick-ins, then there's trouble, but I don't think he's going to lose them. The only thing that concerns me with the kick-ins is this. Let me show you something. Now, Sin got injured. Okay, now when Sin gets injured, who comes in? Burton. I think Burton comes in this week. So if Burton comes in, if we go back to the kick-in breakdown, you'll see here that Burton, has Burton even played this year? There it is there. He also takes kick-ins, okay, 2, 1, even last year he took a few. So Burton could replace Sin's kick-ins, okay, because Sin took 1, but then Burton and Rosie may share a bit more. So Farrell definitely is the main man. Then the second man is usually Sin and Rosie. And now it's going to become Burton and Rosie. And Burton is a hog, okay? Although Rosie is the captain. So we'll see how that goes. But that's something to keep an eye on. And Sam Powell-Pepper, if you started him, you've hit goldmine, okay? Because Sam Powell-Pepper never, ever, ever in his history has scored 2 100s back-to-back. Never. He's done it 3 times now. Okay, 3 100s back-to-back. And Sam Powell-Pepper's price, break-even of 17. He's going to become a 400k player very soon. I can't believe what I'm seeing. Okay, they're unheard of. So average is normally 66. I would have thought maybe he goes to 300k, makes 120k, but no, not Sam Powell-Pepper. And he's owned by, how many people own him? Let's have a look. Ownership. 20% people own him. I mean, how do you compete against this now? How do you... I can't start Sam Powell-Pepper. Okay, I couldn't start him. Look, I'll show you something. Now, 2023 average. Let's go to 2023. Sam Powell-Pepper. How many hundreds are you seeing here? Okay, how many scores over 100? You got 50s, 81, 50, 50, 74, 50, 107, 50, 60, 50. There's no 100s back to back. Nothing. This is 2023. He averaged 67. Well, he's averaging 75 now. 2022. Let's go 2022. Sam Powell-Pepper. 2022. 80, 80, 50, 60, 90, 70, 70, 60, 130, 32. How do you start this kind of player and pay 180k for him? He's never done this before, okay? How would you predict this, okay? You can see his price here. He started at 377k, okay? He held that price, but he had to fight for that price. Now, this year, what has he done? Okay, Sam Powell-Pepper, 83... started 18, 83, 48, 74. Okay, now these 4, typical what you saw the previous other years, okay? But however, the last 3 weeks, 101, 106, 98, this came out of nowhere, okay? So Sam Powell-Pepper all of a sudden is now worth 375k. I can't come it down. Forget him as a starting pick. In round 4, when he was 199k, did you hear anyone say, we should jump on Sam Powell-Pepper? Did anyone say this? I wouldn't have said this, okay? I'll have to be in the loony bit to say at round 4, 199k, Sam Powell-Pepper is a bargain. I'm going to pick him up. I never said that, okay? I wouldn't have said that. Did anyone say this? If they did, they were geniuses, because a lot of people actually traded him out, okay? Because he didn't do anything. 18, 83, 48. This is what we're expecting from him. But these 3 scores... sometimes you just have to get lucky, okay? And Sam Powell-Pepper has got gold mine for you at Sam Powell-Pepper. He could even go to 500k if it continues. So we'll see how he goes. Now, going back to the game, is there anyone else here to talk about? We've got the horny man at 111. His price, if you're interested to pick him up, if you traded him out and you want to pick him up, break even is 118. There's no rush, okay? So there's no hurry. You can get him it's pretty much his price now. He's not going to get a 600k, put it that way. So he's going to be around about the 550 range. Now let's go to North Melbourne, okay? And let's take a look at CBAs, okay? Now, I want to show you Harry Sheezel's CBA. 0. I mean, every week has CBAs, 55, 52, or vice versa. Even the week where he played at half-back, he still had 30%, right? 40, 72, 45. But no, the week I trade him out, the exact week, okay, you just waited for me. Same thing as Rosie, because you saw Rosie for 0. The same week, how is it possible, okay? The same week I trade him out, he has 0% CBAs, nothing. Because Sheezel's, okay, if you look at his heat map, okay, let's go have a look at Sheezel's heat map. You can't script this, okay? He started half forward. In the first quarter, that's where he was playing, half forward, okay? First quarter, half forward, and then he went back, half back, and not only a half back that plays here, an attacking halfback, similar to a role to Rosie. Exactly the same thing happens with Sheezels and Rosie, same thing. And if you go to the kick-ins, okay, let's go to kick-ins. Caleb Daniel, 8 kick-ins, Sheezels, 4 kick-ins. So even taking it's exactly the same thing. History has repeated itself, okay? How does lightning strike twice, okay? It struck twice at me. I can't believe this. Up until this week, Sheezels had no kick-ins, nothing. Okay, just the week I traded him out, he has 4 kick-ins. So he just waited for me. That's why I'm saying with Oliver, the minute I trade him out, he's going to become a halfback. Okay, I can promise you, you can see him at halfback soon. So let's go back to the game now. To the teams, and Sherry at 158. Now, Sherry highly owned, break even of 41. He's not cheap. He's 582k, but the problem with Sherry is, if he goes at 120s from now to the end of the year, all right, 120, and he's very capable of doing this, he goes to 630k. And mind you, he's playing Essendon this week, okay, now against Essendon. The chances are very high that he can go 150, okay, now 150 against Essendon. He goes to 650k, unattainable, okay, so Sherry is. So it's now or never, and you've got games up against West Coast coming, Richmond, you got Freo, you got some big games coming. He's going to play St Kilda, he's going to play Geelong still, got Richmond twice actually, so at 582k, still a bargain, okay? He's 60k cheaper than starting price. So if you're going to pick up Sherry, it's going to be now or never, okay? This is it. This is the time now. You got to decide now, do I want Sherry or not? Now, with Cheezels, I don't know what role he's going to play this week, okay? I have no idea, okay? The good news is, well, not for the North Melbourne fans, because they did play well, but they didn't win. So maybe they need Cheezels back in the middle, okay? So hopefully Cheezels goes back to that midfield, because the role that he's got now, I just absolutely love it, okay? But can he hold that role? Because I sacked him because he didn't have this role. This is the role I wanted. This is why I brought him in, for this role. The minute I sack him out, he gets it. So let's see if Cheezels can maintain this role for another week. If he has this role again this week, let's say he scores a 138 or a 130. He goes to 570k. All right, I sold him at 567k. I can buy him back at 571k. So it's just going to be a sideways trade, but I have to bring him back, because the minute I bring him back, I'm going to stop it for you guys, because he's not going to do it anymore. Okay, so I'm going to do this for the team again. I'm going to pay for the team, and I'm going to ruin it for all of you now. So don't get upset at me if I do this, but I'm going to bring Cheezels back soon. And the minute I do, the scoring's going to stop. So I apologize in advance for that. Now let's go further down. LDU, okay, let's talk about LDU now. How much cost this one? Okay, 493k. He's 90k cheaper than starting price. Let's have a look. Season stats. LDU. LDU is one of these players that is very up and down. Okay, 60. Even this game, he wasn't scoring well. He just had a big late. He gets a lot of huge scaling points because he does a lot of things at the right time, good things at the right time, does LDU. So went to 114, last week 72. He's still going to lose cash this week, even if he scores a 94. So probably he scores a 1 at 110, he won't. So don't rush for LDU, okay? He's not going to finish top 8, I don't think. I don't think so. So there should be other players that you're prioritising. Unless LDU drops a 450k, then you can start thinking about him. Now, at North Melbourne, I don't think there's anyone else to talk about. I mean, the Powells and the Caleb Daniels, we all got them, okay? The Parkers, no one's interested in. Is there anyone else? McKercher. Actually, McKercher's going to be an interesting one. Let's say the coach had a brainstorm, okay? I mean, if I'm coach, okay, McKercher's doing nothing at the moment, okay? McKercher's not getting nothing. Why don't you move McKercher back to defence? McKercher last year in defence, he went nuts. He's 162k below his starting price. I want to see McKercher in defence doing the exact same role as we saw from our boy Cheezels, okay? Because I don't want Cheezels to keep scoring like this. I want him to stop scoring. So I want to see Cheezels go to the forward line. And I want to see McKercher take this role. If this happens, McKercher's going to be a must-have. But we just got to wait for this to happen, because we can't assume, okay? So we can't put our captain's hat on, because it's not going to work. But besides that, there's no one else at North Melbourne. We now go to GWS, and I've got some interesting stats to show you here. Okay, at GWS, the CBAs, well, Tom Green's got them dominated, okay, 80%. The interesting one here is Callaghan. Now, Callaghan was high 60s, probably 70, you can even call these 70s, okay, 69 and 68, same thing, okay? Now, from 70% CBAs, he's now dropped to 47 of 41. So Callaghan is now moved to the wing. But for some reason, I mean, this was bad news, okay? But for some reason, on the wing, he's going nuts, okay? Now, I want to show you something with Callaghan. The wing role is actually suiting him. Look at these heat maps. Now, I want to show you the heat map. Let's look for a good game. The 104, Okay, it's a good game in the midfield, all right? In the midfield, for good role, that's his heat map. Scoring a 104, all right? That's decent. It's actually very good, okay? Now, that's when I was in my happy days, okay, with him. Then, all of a sudden, all right, he moved last week, all right, against Adelaide. I asked the question, okay, was it, I can't remember who he played last week. Who was this against? Let's have a look. It was against Adelaide, okay? Now, last week against Adelaide, I asked the question, has he had a role change? Because it looked different, okay? And I was told that Adelaide pressed so hard that GWS played more defensive. But we did see that CBA's dropped for Callaghan. However, I look at his heat map this week, all right? It's the same thing. I mean, a little bit different, but the same thing, okay? Nothing in the forward, no forward half, mainly defensive half, okay? So he's become a defensive half CBA player, winger, half-back, okay? And this is an awesome role. So Finn Callaghan, if he can keep this role, he's going to score 110s every week. So let's hope and pray that for the owners of Finn Callaghan, owned by 25%. And now, if you don't own him, what do you do? Okay, now, let's get back to Finn Callaghan. Let's get back over here. Okay, now, if you don't own him, are we interested? Okay, let's go have a look at his price. Finn Callaghan is priced pretty much same as his starting price. All right, it's $454K, only 13. It was started at $440. Now it's $454. Now, I said at the start that I made a mistake. I should have sacked Callaghan. I should have kept Chera. Okay, now I'm actually happy that I kept Callaghan. So it actually ended up good. So, I mean, Chera did go nuts. So, but then again, Chera scored 80 last week, and now he might be suspended. So it's amazing how things turn around. Now, Callaghan's last two scores, 116. If Callaghan can maintain a 110, with this role, he'll get it. Okay, if he can contain a 110 average, Callaghan's going up to about 550K, 520K, 530K-ish, around there. It's an extra 80K on top. If he can go at 115. Mind you, Callaghan has had shots on goals that he's missed. Okay, add those goals in there. And he's scored rockets. So if he goes at 115, he goes to 550K in no time. So there's 100K to make from Finn Callaghan. So if you're playing the blue chip markets, Finn Callaghan is blue chip, okay? And with his break even being low, it's something to think about anyway. Although there could be a tag coming this week, so something to be warned about as well. Now, Lockie Whitfield, the 104. I mean, we've got it. I skipped it a bit here. If we've got a kick-ins, all right, GWS. Whitfield only had 3 of them. Lockie Ash had 5. And it says here, Lockie Ash injured. And now, I don't understand what that is. Lockie Ash injured? Has anyone seen Lockie Ash being injured? Okay, it says here, it's got the ambulance here. Lockie Ash injured. So it's something to be wary about. I didn't know this, okay? So we'll find out more information about Lockie Ash, but maybe he's injured. I'm not sure. Anyway, and DFS don't usually get it wrong. Usually, if they've got an ambulance at DFS, be scared, okay? Be afraid. Be very afraid. Just calm it down. Now, going further down, we look at Whitfield. We talked about Whitfield. I don't think there's anyone else here to really talk about. Lockie Ash, if you started him, you are so happy. 116 up. Is it too late to get him? 572K. That's not cheap, okay? So, especially when you got the ambulance sign on him. But is it too late to get? Let's say he scores. He just had the 2 bad weeks, and this is what put me off. These 2 weeks, we were actually considering him, and then we saw these 2 games, and then he's gone nuts. He's owned by, how many people own him? Let's have a look. Lockie Ash summary. He's owned by, what does it say? 7%. Only 12,000 people own him. These 12,000 people are very happy customers, and I can tell you that the team that's ranked number 2 right now has got Lockie Ash in his team, so he's a very happy customer. Now, if we go further down at GWS, and I don't think there's anyone else here of any mention here, so we're going to skip GWS and go to the Western Bulldogs. Now, at the Dogs, we look at CBAs. Now, Ed Richards is at the top, 75%. He's the main man now, Ed Richards. Even last week, it was Ed Richards. He's the main man. He's the one that we sacked, okay? But for some reason, this week he didn't score, so I'm not complaining. But Libba, 59% CB. His CB has dropped. Matt Kennedy, 59%. His has dropped. The Bont has dropped, okay, because the Bont got rested at three-quarter time. So maybe the Bont was the highest, but because at three-quarter time got rested, okay, he's dropped. He could have gone 180, the Bont, the way he was playing. And then you look at Fraser. His went up, but his went up because the Bont got rested. So if the Bont doesn't get rested, what does Fraser have? Maybe 20% again, okay? So that's something to consider. Once the Bont went off the field, Fraser had more CBAs, okay? And there's another thing to consider as well. We've got Treloar coming back. So, which now goes to my question on Fraser, even on Richards. Who's going to be the main midfielders? Because you got Libba, okay? You got the Bont, and then you got Treloar, okay? Then you got Matt Kennedy, and you got Ed Richards. So there's going to be a lot of competition here for spots. Even Matt Kennedy's spot now is going to be in question. So we're going to find out. And with the kick-ins, Dale used to own the kick-ins. It used to be all his. You can see here, 9 kick-ins, okay? 8 he played on from. 6 kick-ins. They were all his. All of a sudden, they've stopped, okay? Now, even last week, he had 5 kick-ins. Everyone else had 1. But this week, he only had 3 kick-ins. Bramble had 3 kick-ins. Rory Lobb had a kick-in, okay? We had Fraser had a kick-in. And Luke Cleary had a kick-in. So if you lose your kick-ins, you're going to lose a lot of points. So that's where Dale lost a lot of points from kick-ins. And if you go to points this week, we're seeing the Bont 128. And mind you, he was on like 113 or 115. I can't remember. So he got a lot of scaling up on the bench, okay? He was peeling the bananas very fast. So he got the extra 15 points on the bench, peeling the bananas and oranges, okay? Because he had a lot of happy customers that were eating the oranges. Apparently he did a good job. So the extra 15 points went to the Bont. If you go further down, Kennedy scored that 119. But as I mentioned, you got the extra midfield minutes now because the Bont went off. Who gets these minutes now that we're going to see Treloar back? So I'm not sure about this midfield. It's very scary right now. Fraser, the 114. Ed Richards, 90. They've got too many players in that midfield. Dale scored a 70. I mean, I'm really upset with my player, what's his name? Rao. Upset with him. I can imagine how upset you are with Dale. With Dale. He's now at 473k. Now, a lot of you picked him up maybe at 530k, and you thought you had a bargain. You were very excited. Now, if you go to his scores here, Dale, let's get a Dale. A lot of customers were very happy, even at 528k when you got him here. You would have said, what a bargain, let's get him. He even went to 543k and only scored the 81, because you would have got him after the 141 against Collingwood. The only thing with Dale is, I owned him last year, so I know exactly what he's like, okay? So there was no way I was going to get him, okay? Because I know what he can do, and he's done it. He's proven it, all right? The 110, 68, 98, 70. I'm not saying that I know everything, but I do know Bailey Dale, okay? I know, even though players that you own, you sort of put them on your never again list, okay? Because you own them. You know what they're going to do. Like Matt Rowell, okay? I know what he's going to do to me, but I still got him in, okay? I can't work that one out. But he's a con artist, got me in. But Dale is another con artist. Can go massive, but can also go really bad. So his break even now, okay, where is it? Break even is 116. If he goes, what's he going to average? Let's say he goes at 95. Okay, if he goes at 95s, you can get about 450k. At 450k, he's probably worth it, but I wouldn't touch him. But at 450k, if he has a couple of spike games, okay, because we know that Dale can do this as well. He can go 120s, 130s, just 2 of them. If he has 2 spike games, from 460k or from 460k, he goes to 5. He makes about 60k. So he needs the average has to be higher, all right? That's the problem. The average is low for him to make a lot of cash. So I'm not sure on Dale, okay? Now, going further down at the Dogs, you got Buslinger, Okay, where is he? Bustlinger. 57. A job security. How solid is it? Well, he's only fighting against Jones. That's it. It's him and Jones. And because they've moved a defender to the forward line. They're short on defenders. So Bustlinger's job security, I think, is solid unless Jones comes back. So that's his only concern, Jones. Now, let's talk about Gold Coast and Sydney. Now, Gold Coast, CBAs, Anderson, 88, Witts, is the ruckman, Rowell, 84, then Tuckmiller, 59, you got Humpty on 25, and Flanders on 25, and a couple of 16. So really, they've only got three midfielders, well, really two. They got Anderson and Rowell, and part-timers are the rest, and Miller being a part-timer. But Miller has had a bit more. He shared it a bit this week. So, kick-ins at Gold Coast. There's nothing. Okay, nothing to Noble, Powell, Rioli. Okay, nothing there. So let's have a look at some of the prices and scoring. All right, and this is actually a shock to me because if you look at Gold Coast, normally what you see is their midfielders having all the points, especially when they win a game, okay? And they won massive, okay? Because they came back from way behind and they won. So usually the midfielders score, but this time it wasn't the midfielders, it was the defenders and the forward and the ruck, and that's about it. Their midfielders only went, Anderson got tagged, 89, Miller, 101, and we saw Rowell, he got tagged as well, sort of, okay, and scored a 69, okay? It was going a lot worse. But there's nothing here, really, to talk about at Gold Coast, okay, except Humpty. But Humpty, some of you would have traded him out, and I can't blame you for that, okay, because when you got a Humpty, he didn't change his role, nothing changed. The only thing that changed is Humpty kicked goals this week, okay, so if he scored you a 64, 74, then a 48, I mean, what are you supposed to do with him? Okay, how can you keep him? And at 40 hours against Richmond, how would you hold him? Okay, I couldn't hold him, so I would have traded him out and seen it as a failed trade. Okay, simple. I would just say, look, cut my losses. He's a failed trade, and I'll trade him out. But it didn't work that way because all of a sudden now he's got a 151. So now what does this do to his projection? So now all of a sudden out of nowhere, if he scores back-to-back 100s, he's going to make another 100K, okay? It's insane, okay? The turnaround is insane. He's already made 32K this week, and then he's going to make another 38K and 52K. So you couldn't write about this. No one would have predicted this. No one. Now, let's talk about Sydney now, and let's go to the kick-ins. Now, Blakey had 4 kick-ins. We saw Roberts have 5, and Bice have 3, okay? And Lloyd had 2. Now, Blakey, I mean, as I said earlier, I went to sleep in the second half. I didn't want to watch it. It was making me too angry. I was going to smash the TV if I watched more game of this, so I didn't watch the whole game. However, from what I saw or what I've been told, Blakey played forward after half time, maybe the last quarter, I don't know, to save the game or something, and kicked a couple of goals, or maybe 2 or 3 goals. So, with Blakey moving out, Roberts and Bice, they went nuts. Okay, so their scoring would have skyrocketed. So it helped them big time. Maybe Blakey, does he play forward now? Okay, I don't know, because they don't have a forward. How does a football team not have a forward? I can't work this out. What kind of management do you have at a club that you can't actually have a proper decent forward? Same thing with West Coast. How do you not have a ruckman? Okay, how do you only have 2 ruckmen when you used to own Nick Nat, Cox? You had the best ruckman. How do you go from having the best ruckman to the worst ruckman? I can't work it out. Same with Sydney. They had the best forwards. They had they had Locketts. They had the Franklins. They had the best forwards. All of a sudden, in a couple of years, they have no forwards at all. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, let's get back to the game. So let's talk about Chad Warner now. Okay, now Chad Warner, priced at 461K, break even of 79. Now, he's 100K cheaper than starting price. That is an absolute bargain. Okay, now, the problem with Chad Warner is is consistency. Okay, 78, 122, 54, 81, 71, 121. But if we take this consistency out, and let's go to the CBAs at Sydney, all right? At Sydney CBAs, if we go to Chad Warner, it was his highest ever this year, 78. But then again, last week he had 70 and he didn't do much, okay? So it doesn't mean because he gets more CBAs that he's going to score better. The week that he scored, actually, where is it? Let's go back there, okay? Back to Chad Warner, all right? Where is he? The week that he scored, the 122 was against Freo and 1-1. So round 0 and round 2. What did he score those rounds? Round 0. He only had 45% CBAs, and round 2 had 68. So from looking at this, CBAs does help him because he had 2 big games with CBAs, okay? So if we go back to Chad Warner now, would I bring him in, okay, is the question. What would I do? And that's a tough question, and I'm going to answer this question tomorrow, not today, because I've got a dilemma with Chad Warner, and I'm going to explain it to you, and you might find this very interesting, okay? But so Chad Warner is a question mark. Now, Roberts 117, he's doing his job again, okay? So he's back to scoring points. Bice is the hero of the year, okay? 101. What a recruiter, 113K. Now Bice is the rookie of the year this year. Cleary also doing well. Is there much more to talk about at Sydney? Okay, is there anyone else here of any interest? And to be honest, Patton was the one, we already discussed him. Okay, I don't want to talk about Patton anymore because it makes me upset. When I just think about the man, my blood boils, okay? And Henley has just lost some cash. We sacked him last week, but he's just lost some cash. We now go to Carlton and the Conning, 83% ruck time. Cripps, 86% CBAs. Looks like Cripps back in the middle again, okay? It doesn't have that forward role that he had a couple of weeks ago, so he's back in the middle. The role is good again, but he's not scoring points still, okay? So there's something wrong with his scoring. Hewitt, 76%. Walsh, 48%. Even last week, 47%. Walsh has a very similar role. Okay, let's have a look here. What is Walsh's role? Where is he playing? Is he playing on the wing? Let's find out about I had a few questions on Walsh. What's he doing? And Walsh, if you look at his heat maps, there is a lot of wing time here, all right? And there is midfield time, wing time, half forward. That's probably more of a half forward wing role. So Walsh's role is not the best, but his scoring is unbelievable. Okay, I mean, if you compare Walsh's role to the one I showed you of Callaghan, I like Callaghan's role better. Okay, because Callaghan has a lot of cheap possessions in the back line. Walsh, all his work is tough work, hard work. So Walsh has to work for his points. But if we go back over here, he's been scoring really well lately. So I had Walsh last year, and because of his kicking, I used to be. It was a painful watch. Okay, so it's a tough one with Walsh. It's not going to always be consistent. Cripps scoring that 104. If he's back in the middle, and if we have a look at his season stats, when do we jump on Cripps? Okay, because we know every year at the back end he goes nuts. So when is the right time to jump on Cripps? So let's find out now. What has Cripps scored this year? Not much. 84, 56, 114, and that's kicking goals. 82, 104. So you don't rush for Cripps. You wait for him until after his bye, and then you decide. Okay, don't panic with Patrick Cripps. And at Carlton, anyone else? Well, we go now. We've had Mr. Consistent Chera, which we started with. Okay, this week he had an 81. Okay, so it was I think he got sort of a groin injury, but it came back on. So I think the injuries are not a problem, but the suspension's there. So we'll see if they overturn that suspension. Because to be honest, I saw the suspension, and surely he gets off on that. He cannot get reported for that. Okay, so surely they let him go because. There was no malice. There was nothing there. All he was trying to do was push the player away, and the player was pushing him away. He just accidentally hit him in the face. Okay, so or the throat. I don't know where he hit him, but the camera angle is too far. But he has to get off on that. Okay, so I don't think there's any malice there, and that's pretty much it at Carlton. And the main thing here is the Conning. Is he going to keep this role as a ruckman? Because now are they going to push him to the forward line? But they're winning, so there's no point. And the other question is, the question was raised for Pitternet, is he going to come back? And I can't see it happening, to be honest, so I don't think so. And the other question is, can Carroll hold his spots? Okay, he still scored a 54. Okay, he's averaging about 60. He scored a 54. That's enough. Can he hold his spots? Okay, and we do have a player coming back to replace him in Cowan, so we'll find out next week. I think next week is the answer. Now, we'll go to Geelong, and in the game, on team sheets, an Everett was dropped. It says out, and then not even emergency. Okay, and I looked up the VFL results. I couldn't see Nevitt's name mentioned at all. And then it says here, Nevitt injured. So he must be injured. I didn't know this. Okay, so Nevitt out, possibly injured. Stewart out. He's in, but we don't know what's going on with Stewart. He looks injured. Okay, now the CBA's at Geelong. Okay, you got Holmes, Bailey Smith, and Atkins, and that's it, the three of them, and then a massive number of players having part-timers in there. So there's not many players in the midfield. So when Nevitt is not injured, do they bring him back in? I would say yes. I actually don't understand why Patrick Dangerfield is not in this midfield, okay? It's not making any sense. He's one of the best midfielders going around. Could be a burst player, but give him some more time there. Now, with their kick-ins at Geelong, Humpty had 5, okay? Tom Stewart had 4, and Max Holmes only had the 1. We're going to talk about Geelong now. We've got lots to talk about with Geelong. Okay, let's go to the to Geelong. Bailey Smith, okay, I don't understand how he's scoring this big, but did I underestimate Bailey Smith? Okay, big time. At the start of the year, I said he's going to be a banana, a spud, no good. Okay, I was wrong. Okay, so I said he won't average 90. He smashed 90. So Bailey Smith, I was really wrong with. Okay, and I knew he can't kick, and it's proven. He's going at 50%. But he's still scoring, and he's not getting 40 touches a game like he did at the Dogs, but he's still scoring, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so Smith is doing everything right. Connor O'Sullivan, I don't think a lot of people own him anymore, okay, because of his few games, but if you do own him, okay, and I think there's a few that do own him, let's have a look. Actually, 21% own him still, so there is quite a few that own him. So if we go to Connor O'Sullivan, his cash gen has been brought back to life again, because his last 2 weeks, 42.54, his cash gen had died. Then out of nowhere, a 95. So now he's back to making cash again next 2 weeks. He'll go up to 350k, another 20k or 50k. What is it? 40k to 50k coming up over a 3-week span if he goes at 75s for O'Sullivan. And we go further down. I'm trying to find him. I can't find him. Is this all they scored? The only 3 players scored 100 at Geelong. Okay. Carlton, a massive win for them. Okay. They'll be stoked. Holmes scoring a 70. Unbelievable. Okay. Now Holmes' price is going to get smashed. I don't understand what happened to him. Okay. And he's got tags coming. He's got some big tags coming. So next up, against Collingwood, no tag, but he's playing GWS soon. Okay, there's a tag coming from GWS. So let's project his score now. Let's say against Collingwood he goes 110, but at GWS he goes 70 because they're going to tag him. Let's say an 80. All right, and let's give him another 97. The rest are okay. Okay, let's project his score, his price. Sorry, his price. You can get him roughly for about 485k, for 500k ish. So it's still a good deal because Holmes is a decent player. So something to look forward to maybe with Max Holmes later on, maybe during the buys, because not a lot of us have cash right now. So Holmes maybe during the buys if you've got a triple trade you're going to do, and 3 rookies to cull out. So you've got to find rookies to replace them, which is going to be the hard part, but it could be a good deal. Then you go further down, and who else is there? Tom Stewart. Okay, now Tom Stewart, 436k. I never thought I would see the day where Tom Stewart is 436k, but has a break even of 126. Now, when do you buy Tom Stewart, or is it never? Do we just pass on him? That knee doesn't look good. Okay, now he's always holding his knee. He doesn't look right. 64, 67. We know he can score the 118s. But if he scores from now on, all right, if he goes at 100 every week, he doesn't drop more in price. I mean, another 10k, and that's it. That's his floor, 425k. All right. If he goes at 100, if he doesn't, all right, if he doesn't go at 100, then you can pick him up under 400k. He'll be about 380, 390k. So keep an eye on Tom Stewart. Maybe you can keep him as a spare if you have a lot of cash. If you're at 11.8 mil like at Epps Magic, you can't do that, okay? But if you've got a 13, 14 mil team, then you can. So that's something to think about with Tom Stewart. Now, at Geelong, I don't think there's anyone else to talk about. Now, we go to Hawthorn. And at Hawthorn, the CBAs, we got Newcomb, 73%. Warpool's back, 67%. Cam McKenzie at 58%. And Huswaite only had the 36%. So he didn't have that many. I actually expected him to have more. Now, we do know that Huswaite has replaced Nash, okay? Now, Nash is going to be away for another three weeks. So, how much cash are we going to make from Huswaite? We're going to work this out now. Okay, so let's that was CBAs. Let's have a look at the kick-ins. Who's got all the kick-ins at Hawthorn? If Hawthorn, they're just sharing it. Okay, so nothing to take note of there. Now, scoring-wise, okay, Meek went big, 161 against Flynn. This is very worrying because if Meek can score a 161, what is Gawn going to do this week? Okay, Gawn has to go minimum 200. Minimum 200 because Gawn is the best. Okay, so it's for non-owners like me. I'm going to cop it again this week. Okay, I'm going to watch my score be 100 points under everyone else again this week and drop more further down the rankings because everyone owns Gawn. So it's going to be painful to watch. Now, going further down, Darcy Moore scored the 108. Okay, so that's a good score. Now, if we go to Darcy Moore, he's cheap, 429k, but his break-even is still high, okay, because of that low score last week. So last week, if we have a look at the score last week, what did he score? Was it a 20-odd or 30-odd? I can't remember. It wasn't very big anyway. Now my internet has slowed down. Here it is. He scored the 36 last week. So that's in a 3-week cycle. So his break-even is still at 109. Okay, now we know that Moore can go 130s and go on a hot streak. Okay, we've seen it before. His draw opens up. This week he's got Richmond. So he should do well. He should do well against Melbourne. He could do well against every game he plays because he's a freak of a player. So if Dylan Moore goes at 110s, actually, that's not how it works because Dylan Moore doesn't go at 110s. Dylan Moore goes at 130 then 80. So if let's just add some scores in here. All right, Dylan Moore 130. Dylan Moore, say 104. Let's say this game he went at 85. This game he went 90. This game he went 120. So that's how Dylan Moore works. Okay, that's how he's up and down. All right, so if we project his price, it's still going to be under 500k, and that's provided that he goes at 120, 104, 85, 480k. But now he's at 429k. This is as cheap, or maybe even next week, is as cheap as you'll get him. Okay, so keep an eye out and for Dylan Moore if you're interested. Now, John Newcomb hasn't set the world on fire yet. Okay, he's due. Okay, but he hasn't done it yet. So it's very unusual for John Newcomb, but he's at 100. So I would jump on him once you know he's going nuts. He actually took two unbelievable pack marks. So plays Richmond this week. He should go nuts. He's only 555k, and he's not a player that's going to go to 600-700k. Okay, he's not that kind of player. He's not a must-have. All right, so last year against Richmond, he scored 162. Okay, so keep that in mind. But then against Melbourne, he scored 66 and 61 against Gold Coast. So he's the type of player that can go nuts or go quiet, but he has been on a hot streak. Well, sort of not really hot. 104, 134, 100. If we add in some scores here, all right, let's say he goes 140, 100. These are decent, okay? We might go 100 there. Let's project it. Roughly about 590k or 580k. There's no rush to get John Newcomb. And the only other player that's of I've mentioned is Sicily, okay? And Sicily, actually, we're going to talk, Sicily, I don't know about Sicily, okay? He hasn't got the kick-ins, roles different. There are much better defenders than him, sorry. So maybe forget about Sicily. Forget I mentioned this. Break even at 130, 470k. He's going to drop in price. But the player that we want to talk about is Hustwaite. Now, Hustwaite, we know, is only going to play 4 games. He's already played one of them, all right? They're guaranteed. Well, nothing is guaranteed, but maybe they're guaranteed. The coach loved him, okay? He said he had a good game, so maybe they're guaranteed. So 4 games until Nash comes back, okay? Let's go on that philosophy, okay, or that theory. Well, my app has died, okay, so I can't actually click on Hustwaite. It's not working, okay? Every time I click, nothing happens. So let's just say, for argument's sake, Hustwaite goes at 70s, because I worked this out the other day. If he scores 470s back-to-back, he makes 100k. Okay, so he's already done 1, needs 3 more. 3 more 70s, and he makes 100k, and then the chances are very high that he doesn't play anymore. So 100k is still worth it, okay? So, because these days, finding money from anywhere is worth it. So, if you can get 100k from Hustwaite, I'd say lock him in, okay? So, we'll see, but don't lock him in this week. Probably next week when he's on the bubble and if he plays. So, this week, we'll see how he goes, but he's playing Richmond, so he should do well. And let's move over before this whole thing crashes. Okay, let's go to West Coast. And Flynn, the 105. Okay, now he's going to make money. I can't click on it. Nothing's happening now. So Flynn, 105. He's going to make us some cash. We're happy with this, but he plays Gorn this week, so maybe he's not going to make too much more cash. Maybe he could score an 80 this week. Maric is doing it. Now, I've sort of worked this out. Okay, you all see that Maric always starts well, scores a 60 at half time every week. Then for some reason, his score is in the 90s or 80s. What's going on? Okay, I've actually worked it out because I was questioning champion data. Okay, and I got some answers, and they're telling me that when it's a blown out game, as you can see here, the cheap disposals that he gets in the first half give him the maximum points, but those cheap disposals he gets in the second half give him half the points. So that's why Maric's points possibly is not really adding up in the second half. And that sort of explains it, okay? So if you add his points normal, he'd probably be around about that 110, 105 mark. But because West Coast are losing so bad, now this is the philosophy that I've been told, so I'm not sure if it's true or not. So I'm just going for what I've been told. So in the last quarter, they only score him for half his points. So if a kick-in's worth 4 points, he only gets 2 points for it. So that's what I've been told. So we'll see if it's true or false. I don't know. But anyway, at West Coast, they got smashed. Okay. Surely Gross comes back in this team. Okay, surely. They have to play. They played Goff in the midfield. Where's Goff? What did Goff score in the midfield? He scored nothing. Okay, where is he? Hugh, sorry. Not Hugh. Hugh in the midfield scored 61. Harley Reid was decent this time. They didn't play him in the midfield. I don't know what's wrong with McQualter. Okay, McQualter was never like this. Okay, something's happened to him. When he went to Perth, things have changed. He's not playing the kids. If your team's not going to win a premiership, play the kids, get them premiership ready, okay? So, have a look at the CBAs at West Coast. Okay, who had the CBAs? Let's have a look. West Coast Eagles. Okay, Hutchinson had 82% CBAs. Harley Reid had 70%. Good to see him back there. Hewitt had 64%. And Brody Hawk, 79% CBAs. Please, okay? Bring back the kid that's been brought in to be a midfielder. The kid's a jet, okay? You got to bring him back in. We're talking about Gross. Bring him back in, please, okay? McWalter, you're listening. Just do something. Just calm it down. And if we look at it by the kick-ins, and you can see here, Maric had the 6 kick-ins, and you can see here he plays on everything. Okay, he's going for maximum Supercoach points, Maric. Okay, I think he understands about Supercoach. So had the 6 kick-ins this week. McGovern the 5 and Duggan the 4, and that's pretty much it. Summing up all the games this week. Let's go to leagues. We're now going to go to the Scodfather League. Actually, before we go to the Scodfather League, okay, let's take a look at all our wins and losses. Actually, I don't think we had many wins. Okay, let's take a look at all our losses this week. Who we lost to this week? Okay, let's check us out. And now you'll note that a lot of the rankings on the table will be on the bottom of each one because that's how good we are this year. Okay, so my Spuds are going to be on the bottom, but remember, we're going to walk on through the rain and storm this year, and we're going to try to manage to get into the top 8, at least all these leagues. That's our goal. Let's call it Mission Impossible, but after the buys, Abs Magic is going to create some magic, okay? That's our plan. Probably fairy tales right now. We don't know if it's going to happen, but you got to stay positive, okay? That's the name of the game. Stay positive. Things will eventually turn, okay? You can't always go against you. The Supercoach gods can't just change, just continually go bad against you, okay? So something has to change. So let's go through all the leagues. Okay, we got a smashing in the Scodfather Legends. Dan Batten destroyed us 24-70 to 23-63. Scodfather Champions, we got beat by Nathan's Guns. He showed it to me on Twitter as well. Had a huge win, my friend here, Nathan. So congrats to Nath. And now he took us out of the 8. Now we're coming 12. So that's probably our best ranking ladder-wise. We go to the cash strip we'll talk about later. Scodfather Cup 1. Sloppy jaw laying pipe. That's Ben's team. Had a massive win. As you can see here, we're ranked 20. We're holding up the ladder right now in this league, so we're ranked 20th. We go further down. Scodfather Cup 2. We actually had a win. I can't believe we beat Mr. Spud Picker. Okay, that's the problem. The battle of the Spuds. Okay, and my Spuds beat the Spud Picker. So unfortunately for Joseph. Okay, so had a win there. Actually, we had another win. Okay, how is it possible? Okay, Scodfather Cup 3. We had the Mecca 420. We defeated them 23-63 to 2300s. I apologise to Mecca. I could have beaten. We don't deserve to win. Okay, so we had that win there. Now, Scodfather Cup 4. My team stinks. Well, unfortunately for you, young man, your team is a masterpiece compared to my Spuds. Okay, so a big win there, and my team coming 19th for now. We're playing. We're tanking this year, so we're playing for picks. First round draft pick next year. Okay, that's our goal. Okay, that's why we're tanking now. Scodfather Cup 5. Actually, we had another win. I don't know how we're winning these games. Okay, 23-63 to 23-37, and Geelong strong. Okay, unfortunately for Daniel, he copped the beating. And Scodfather Cup 6, Ray's team, cream on toast, absolutely toasted me. Okay, and a big win there for Ray's team. And City Sushi in Scodfather Cup 7 had a big win. Okay, a 60-odd point win there for City Sushi. We go to the Scodfather Cup 8 and minimum chips. That's Paul's team. And I always buy $10 chips when I go to fish and chip shops. I don't like minimum chips, but the minimum, that's probably why I'm on a diet now. So I had too much chips. But the minimum chips here, Paul's team had a big win, 25-01 to 23-63. Now, Scodfather Cup 9, Lachlan's team, Goldies, they had a win, and it was a percentage booster for them. So we're ranked 16th on that ladder there. Scodfather Cup 10. We played against Avram's team, the Astronaut, and he was up in space this week, and he was flying, although it was a close game, and had a 13-point victory against my Spuds. Now we go to all the head-to-head scores at Scodfather Legends, and we see here Chris's team, Supercoach Insiders, they had a victory over Damon's team, DJ Tradelots, actually 23-47. Okay, had a bad one like me this week. Okay, so Chris's team had a big win. Jeremy, he's having a good season. I'm very happy for the young man. Okay, and 25-12, defeating the Mini Monk 24-25. We had a close one here, and the Phantom 25-04, defeated by Andrew's team, Lock It In at 25-50. We had a close one here, and we saw that Selby's team, and we know that Selby's a Jets, okay, 25-11, defeating JP's team, 24-66. And we've seen JP very quiet this week. He didn't mention nothing about Supercoach, so we sort of know why, but I'm more quiet than him. Just coming down! And now we go to the next matchup, the battle of the DR versus Januf. Okay, this was a close. Last year Januf was our champion, so this was a close game, and DR took the points, took the chocolates home this week. We had a very close game between Hayden's team, 24-22, defeating Pistol from Dr. Supercoach 24-11, and we had George's team 24-69 defeating Al Payton's team 24-58. And we had Damo 2600 defeated Joe 25-46. Smoking Joe had a good score, but unfortunately it matched up against Damo, who went nuts. And then we had a close one here at my good friend here, Tim Mitchell, 24-21, up against JD Jackson Davies' team, too strong, 25-06. And if we have a look at the ladder, the Scodfather Legends league ranking is 30. There's one team letting everyone down, and that's Abs Magic. Okay, so I apologise to all my friends here, but this would be league ranked number 1 if it wasn't for me. So I'll let the whole team down here, but Selby at the top, 5 wins, 1 loss, and going nuts. And then you got George terrorising with his George Terrors team, coming second, Al Payton third, and Big J having a good year, coming at 4th actually, sharing the points with Mini Monk and Damo, okay, and then Jackson Davey and Januf coming 7th and 8th, okay. Now at the bottom end of the table, okay, and you're going to see Abs Magic here somewhere. Actually, I got 3 below me. I can't believe this, okay. Now, how did we get 8 points? How did we get 2 wins? Okay, we must have fluked them. So on the bottom, we got, well, they won't be on the bottom for too long, because the minute they win a game, they're going to jump above Abs Magic. But below us at the moment is Smoking Joe, Tim Mitchell, and we got Pistol Pete, okay, and they will come good. They should all overtake Abs Magic very soon, but it's a close, even Dan Batten's game this week. If we had won this game, which we had no chance, we'd be close to the top 8, but that didn't happen. So we're only 1 game away from the top 8, so we've still got a chance to get into the top 8 here. It's a very close ladder anyway, this one. Very close league right now. And Selby and George, both with 5 wins and 1 loss, are going nuts. Now we go to the Scodfather group. Okay, now we have had one team that has been ranked number 1, which was Sujuk and Eggs. Unfortunately, he's dropped out of the top 20, top 10 now. He's still going nicely at top 29, so he's still there. But now, in second spot, the Underbites has risen, okay, jumped up, he's come from nowhere, jumped up 23 spots to number 2, that's Lucas's team. So we're going to check out these teams, actually, we'll check them out in a minute, okay, that's Lucas's team. Then we have Josh's team, the Neil Deal, okay, now he's coming 3rd, team value 12.8 mil, that's decent, okay. Now we got Lincoln's team, Zesh Frenzy coming at number 6. So we've got 3 teams in the top 6. Insane from our group. Then we have the Slim Dusty Martins. Okay, now Braden's been hanging around here for a while. So he's now in 18th spot. He's climbing up the rankings. A big score of 25.69. But check out Lucas's score. 26.62 this week. Actually, let's check out his team. What kind of team has he got? He's got Lockie Ash in there. Insane, okay? He's got a massive pod. He's got Sinclair. He's got a good, decent... He's actually got Zach Reed on the bench. He's got some guns. He's got Butters in his team, and he captained Butters. How did you get Butters? Okay, the second-ranked team has got Butters. Can you believe this? Okay, so he's got Butters. He's got Brayshaw. He's playing 2 rookies on the field here. 1 rookie there, but the rookie's scoring 100, okay, so he's not really a rookie. So you've got 1, 2, 3 rookies on field. Levi Ashcroft, he's only got 4 rookies on field, and 2 of them, one of them is going at 100, so not really a rookie. Levi Ashcroft averaging 75. Cash making wise, check out his cash, okay? He's got cash from everywhere. Every player is making cash. This team, the Underbites, oh my God, okay, this team is magnificent, okay, this is one of the best teams I've seen. I don't know how this team can beat. It doesn't have Cherry, but it's got the Conning, all right, he can switch the Conning to Cherry any time. His forward line doesn't have the Horny Man, okay, there's no Horny Man here. He's got Maric, He's got Humpty, okay, and Humpty scored a 151 this week. He's got Flynn. He's gone all value. Have a look at this. Value. Okay, 3 value players there, all right? I mean, we know the Caleb Daniels value, but everyone's got him. So he's got the 3 value picks there. What else has he done? All right, he's got Rosie Chera, okay. Rosie shined for him, turned it around, changed roles, so that was decent. Oliver can become Bont any time for him, but he's in a rush. I mean, he's got Marias and Lindsay on field. He's got Hewitt, who scored 100 the previous week. He's got cash coming out of everywhere, okay. This is unbelievable, okay. So he's actually got a 90 on the bench. This is a masterpiece from the Underbites. I'm not even going to check any more teams because Underbites looks to be one of the teams to beat right now. It's very powerful. Actually, let's have a look at Josh's team. All right, coming at number 3, third ranked team, very similar in price. Okay, how's the Neil deal going? Okay, well, what has Josh done to his team? Now it's a complete different team with similar players, but same but different. So they're going to outpot each other. Okay, so we've got Sheasels here, Wangan Millera, Clark. You take note that the second ranked team doesn't have Sheasels. Okay, and must have traded him out, but it actually worked for him this week. So maybe he's going to bring him back. We'll find out. Maybe he turned Sheasels last week and turned him into who did he turn Sheasels? He must have turned Sheasels into Butters, the previous one. That's what must have happened. So anyway, and it's worked. Okay, so well, Butters has gone up in price, and no one can get him. It's 690k, so he's going to be flying. Okay, now we've got Sheasels here, and we've got Dawson, we've got Petrarca, we've got Chera, Astra. I mean, it looks like a normal team. Okay, it's not like it's different to most. Okay, but again, his cash making. Probably not as strong now because he's got Henderson and Gross on the bench not playing. Okay, so he's got Cleary on the bench. He's got Sam Powell Pepper. Okay, that's been his flavour of the month. Sam SPP. He's the one that's done it for him. Flynn. This is just a normal team, but he's just done so well with it. Congratulations, the Neil deal. This is sensational. Wanganeen Millera has done it for him as well. But yeah, this team looks, even got Holmes who's let him down. He's got a few players that let him down. Even though he's got players that let him down, still scored 25.95. Okay, so even with players that let him down. Then you got Zesh Frenzy. That's Lincoln's team. Slim, we talked about Slim Dusty's. And now do a push-up Jakey. It's Remy's team. Coming 24th, and he's moving up the ranks. Rick's retirement had a bad week. When I say bad week, it's actually a good week, but bad week compared to a top 10. So it's got a 24.73. It's a decent score, but the others scored a bit higher. So it's ranked 26, but catching Lucas is going to be hard now. Okay, now, if we have a look now at Sujuk and Eggs, also pretty much similar to Rick's retirement, had a bad week compared to a top 10 score. That's why he dropped out, but still a decent score. We got the Higginator, that's Matthews' team, 26-21, a huge score, and went up 111 points in rankings, up to 32, and he's flying up the rankings now. We've got Spicy Mayo, that's Jack's team, 38th. Okay, we got Walid's team, that's Carlton, 2025, up to 43 now. He's moving up the rankings. We got Gorn Fishing, that's Mitch's team, up to 45. He's moving up the rankings. They're all moving up. We got Slim's Garrison, that's Simon's team, 48th. We got Denial and Error, that's Jackson's team, also 48th. We got The One Goat, that's Ian's team, 64. We got Lockie Neal, 3 votes, it's Ben's team, 70th. Okay, we got Pay It Deliberate, Oscar's team, 73rd. We got Michael's team, Jake Stringer, under 18, coming at 70. He didn't even move. Okay, he stayed in his spot, 79. Okay, he's got the same disease I had last year. I couldn't move. He's got we got Humphreys B Bear. That's Patrick's team. Coming 80, he's storming into the top 100. Okay, coming 85th. We've got another team here storming Huey's team. That's Matthew's team, coming 95th, up 213 spots. Nearly scored a 2600. We've got James's team,
come what may, okay, 25-53 scored, coming 95th. Actually, we've got how many players on 95th? One, two, three teams on 95th. We've got the Greasy Wogs. That's Jaylene's team had a bad week this week, 24-42, so dropped a bit in ranking, unfortunately, for Jaylene. So hopefully you go up next week. And Jagger in the Heart, Mitch's team, also had it's a good score, but compared to others in the top 100, so he scored the 24-79, ranked 100 right now. And a team that just flew out of the top 100 is Gary's team, Cyril the Gain, okay, ranked at 106. So now we have 22 teams in the top 100. So 22% of the top 100 are from the Scodfather group. That's absolutely insane. And I wish all these teams good luck next week, and I hope they all go nuts again. Now, Lucas's team, that's also ranked second, was our highest scoring team in our group. Okay, so he scored the 26-62 this week, and he was our highest scoring player. Ekram's team, LY9 MUP, that's Akram's team. I think he's a spy or a double agent or something. Okay, now secret agent. He scored the 26-41 and ranked 611. So congrats to Akram. He has a huge spike up in the rankings. We've got Seb's team, Geordie Demolition, 26-34, and he's ranked 4,147. Now Lucas, okay, I want to speak to Lucas, the Underbites. If you're listening, we want to have you on our show. We want to talk to you. Okay, we want you to tell us how you did this, okay, how you built this 12.8 mil team, this masterpiece. So if you get a chance, Lucas, please give us a shout out, and we're going to have you on the show, okay? And we're going to speak to Lucas. Now, let's see which teams dropped out. Okay, let's have a look. Now, the magic number last week was 2050, okay, and everyone passed. So we have no teams that dropped out, which is good news. Okay, even my Spuds, who have already dropped out, even achieved more than 2050. So the new magic number next week is going to be 2075. Okay, so it goes up 25 points every week. So 2075 next week. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you for joining, and remember one thing: it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. Ciao for now.
That's all, folks.